Welcome back. This episode was recorded in the Collab space on Lichfield Street. It features the writer and performer Bones. This is a two-parter. In the first part, we talk about his experiences growing up in Wolverhampton and why the rollerdrome was important to him. In the second part, Bones performs the introduction to his book, Warrior's Bible. As we were setting up, I started chatting to him about how he always performs with his face partially covered.
I don't want my face out there because a lot of people do this for fame. I'm not doing it for fame. I don't need people to know who I am. I know who I am. I don't need that shit. All I wanted to do is listen to what I'm saying. Because even I go into schools and I do motivation talks and what's not, and I'm hooded, and it's just like you don't need to know who I am. We need to get away from that idol or celebrity bullshit.
There's a lot of that out there.
There's too much. So it doesn't matter. I might not get anywhere with what I'm doing, but if I do, to me, there'd be nothing worse than me sitting down and people coming and bothering me constantly and what's not. So this is me being thrust onto the centre stage, but I still want to be in the shadows.
Can I just start by just asking you like a little bit about what your experience of being in Wolverhampton?
Oh, my experience, bloody hell. Of course, I'm 55, so one of my earliest experiences was hardship and not being wanted, to be quite honest, because them days, it's hidden now, but them days it was plain, no blacks, no Irish and no dogs. And we lived through that when you got stopped by police constantly, not doing anything wrong, but it's just like, some black lads, okay, let's go and bother them. So my experience of Wolverhampton has both been good and bad, yin and yang.
Yeah, and that's a harsh lesson for like a child to grow up with.
Well, it was a lesson that we had to learn, and it was better that we learned it young, because this shitstorm is not set up for us, and I knew that from an extremely young age, so that made me look at things differently.
I'm not naive about that kind of experience, but obviously I've never experienced that, and I'm very aware that I haven't seen the world from that point of view.
But this is the thing, everything's there so that we are divided, divide and conquer. This shitstorm that we barely exist in under cannot survive if everybody comes together. So if they are putting down one set of people and the others allow them to put down that one set of people, that's what they're going to do. But if all of us stood up and said, you know something, this is madness and we're not dealing with it anymore, that means that without any bloodshed, without any violence, without anything, all of this would come toppling down because it's a deck of cards. So from time you can banish the fear and come together as one, that's the only way that we can get along and move on. It is what it is. Yeah. It is, because you see with me, I look at things like when there's a negative, I've got to find a positive for it. Because once I find a positive for it, then that negative no longer has any power over me, because I see that I had to go through that to get that way of thinking, to get that learning.
Yeah. So one of the things I ask people is about like positives for this, about the city, or like places that have been meaningful.
I used to love Rollerdrome. I don't know if do you remember when
was that on Temple Street? Yeah. Man. No, that went before I came to Wolverhampton.
Rollerdrome was sick. That was when I was I think I was about 7, 8 when I used to go Rollerdrome. Even CCR, when the Afro-Caribbean Centre, when it used to be in town. Okay. Those were places where I used to go to when I was younger. I shouldn't have been there because I was a bit too young really, but since I hung around with people older than me, they kind of showed me Wolverhampton from a young age, so that all built up my confidence going to these places where I was probably the youngest one in there and everything. But it was all a learning curve. Because even though I said Wolverhampton, Wolverhampton, I'm glad that I was born in Wolverhampton, because anywhere else I don't even know how I would have turned out.
So do you think there was something about Wolverhampton that was different to other places?
I'd say yes, because for one, I would have hated to have been born in London. because I don't know what people like about that, but for me, it's just like, no. Wolverhampton, it was a town, them times. But because it was on a massive scale, you got to know who the people were, you got to know the area from a young age. So I suppose it made us more tight-knit, and especially with how things used to be, because in them times we had to stick together, because going in some different areas was extremely dicey. You'd get run out, or they'd try to do something to you. So being in Wolverhampton and being at the time period where the racism was just off the scale, it made us have to come together.
So tell me, what was the Rollerdrome like?
Oh, the Rollerdrome was sick, man. Seriously. But it was somewhere, because if fast forward to today, the youths ain't got nowhere to go to get them off the streets and what's not. So boredom, they're just going to be out in the streets, getting up to whatever. Back in our day, you used to have Rollerdrome, you used to have places that you could go, play table tennis, pool. You had things that you could do. Yeah. Now there's nothing. And you're wondering why the kids are just going off the scale and doing whatever it is that they choose to do. They've got nothing to do. Yeah,
we're not looking after the young kids, and that says so much.
This is why I do what I do, because of my life and how I grew up and that, and that was based on what I saw and the people that I hung around with and what's not. So my thinking was, okay, then this is not set up for us. I'm not willing to do the kind of work that my dad was doing and be treated like shit. So, you know something, I'm going to have to get out there and make my own way.
So something that makes a difference?
Yeah, well, to start off with, I kind of got into things that I shouldn't have as such, but it was part and parcel of growing up, because the majority of the people that I knew, this is what they were doing, so it was a norm. But for me, I was lucky. While they were getting locked up left, right and centre, I was lucky. I never got caught for what I was doing. So as I said, it's good. It's good and bad, but you just got to take the good with the bad.
Yeah. I was just going to tell you, when moved into a house a few years ago down in Penn, and we were redecorating, and we pulled up the floorboards in one of the bedrooms, and some kid had left a little stash of toys under the floorboards, and there were some tickets from the Rollerdrome. So that's how I know the Rollerdrome. And they were dated like 1970 or something.
Yeah. As I said, the Rollerdrome, for us, it was somewhere to go. We used to go how many times a week. We used to go the weekend, because it was just like everybody there just having fun. You never used to see that much problems, not that much trouble and what's not. Just everybody coming to skate and enjoy.
Wow. I need to say a huge thank you to Bones for his time. This conversation really made me reflect on my own experiences growing up and how different they were to his, and of course many other people's. Be sure to join us in part 2 for the introduction to his book Warrior's Bible, in which he talks about some of his formative experiences and the importance of his family.